everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I use my Passion Planner Passion Roadmap to map out my goals for the year. So normally in the Passion Roadmap, you do a 5-minute timer and basically write a wish list for 3 months out, 1 year out, 5 years out, and lifetime. And this is how I've done it in the past, but this year I decided to try something a little different. So I'm covering up those 4 time labels with my own labels, and I'm filling them in with 4 different areas of life that I would like to work on because they're important to me, because I find that there's room for improvement in these areas. So I chose health, home, marriage, and friends and family as my 4 categories that I'm going to focus on this year. So next, I am just kind of writing a brainstorming list around each of these with some ideas about what can be improved and how. So under health, rather than writing a specific weight loss goal, I decided that I would like to focus on a couple of areas, including nutrition and exercise or activity, and self-care. And I find this is important because I've read that when you're thinking about a weight loss goal, you really can't make yourself lose pounds on the scale. It's more about the component behaviors that cause that weight loss. So I decided to focus on those behaviors. And I also think it's important to focus on more than just weight loss. So that's where the self-care comes in. And I'm also just jotting some other ideas down, like not having health goals be a punishment, but more just out of self-love and self-care. For my home goals, I want to become better at keeping my house a little tidier, a little cleaner. So I'm jotting down a few ideas there. And one of the things that I wrote down is think about what would make the biggest impact if you just did this one thing every day. And I said that doing the dishes every day and spending 10 minutes tidying up or decluttering would probably make the biggest difference in my house. Moving on to my marriage, the biggest thing there would be spending some time completely unplugged from my phone or from social media and just focusing on each other and also showing appreciation. And then for friends and family, the biggest thing here for me is taking time to contact or hang out with people. Obviously, during the current situation, I won't be hanging out in person, but once we kind of get through all that, I want to make sure I'm making time to see my friends and family more. And next, just because I think it looks nice, I colored in the little labels and then I color code each of the different things that I wrote down in those 4 areas. Moving on to the next page. On this page, you normally pick one of your goals that you wrote out and you pick the one that would make the biggest impact, and that's called your game changer goal. And on this second page, you would be filling in all of the little steps that you would need to do to reach that. But again, I decided to change it up this year and do something a little differently. I decided to instead take each of those 4 categories that I had on the first page and write a SMART goal associated with each of them. So I went ahead and covered up that label with my own sticker and I whited out the box that they had already printed. And next I'm going to divide this page into 4 sections. And my lines are a little crooked, but I'm not going to worry about that too much. So at the top of each section, I just label it with the category that I'm focusing on. So again, health, home, marriage, and friends and family. And just because I like color coding, I am highlighting each with the color that it had on the first page. So next, I am labeling each box with the letters S.M.A.R.T. If you're not familiar with SMART goals, it's just a way to write out goals to make them more achievable, to make sure that you can actually complete the goal and know that you've completed the goal because you're setting specific criteria. So the S is specific. So for my health goal, I wrote that I would plan or track my meals 90% of the days of the year, and also that I would do some type of movement or activity at least 3 days a week. For measurable, I already kind of listed it in the specific, but 90% of the year for nutrition and 3 days a week or more for exercise. A stands for achievable or attainable, and I just wrote a statement out here that these are things that I do believe I can do, versus writing a pounds lost goal, which I kind of already mentioned. The R stands for relevant, and I just put a statement here that doing these things will improve my health and well-being. And then T stands for time bound. And again, I kind of already covered this in the earlier part of the goal, but this is something I plan to do all year, and I'll be checking in on my progress each month through the use of my habit trackers. For home, my specific goal is that I will maintain a tidy home. Measurable is that dishes will be done every single day. And I recently heard something, I'm not sure if it was on a TikTok video or in a Facebook group, but someone said something about if dishes are kind of your big task that you never want to do, just run the dishwasher every day, whether it's full or not. And I've been starting to do that, and I definitely find it makes it less overwhelming to just get all the dishes done, instead of having huge loads of dishes to do at one time. For achievable, I definitely think that I can do 10 minutes per day tidying up or doing dishes. And I forgot to mention already in the specific part or in the measurable part, I also plan to take 10 minutes each day and just declutter a little bit. So I definitely think those are achievable things. Relevance of this goal is just that having a tidier house and no dishes piled up will definitely help my anxiety levels. I don't know about you guys, but when my house feels cluttered, I feel anxious, and the more anxious I get, the less I want to declutter, and the more cluttered it gets, the more anxious I get. So it's kind of a vicious cycle, and I'm thinking that doing these things every day will help to decrease that. Again, this is a goal I'm going to be working on all year, but I'm going to check my progress each week to make sure I'm doing those things. For my marriage, my specific goal is that I'm going to improve my marriage by spending at least one evening per week completely unplugged and able to focus on my husband, and also that I'm going to take the time to express my gratitude for one thing each day that he does. I know just from what little I know about the love languages that my husband's love language is definitely the expressions of gratitude. So I just want to make sure I'm doing that more often so he knows that I appreciate him. This goal is definitely achievable, and it's relevant because obviously it's going to strengthen my marriage. And again, with time bound, it's just something I'm going to be checking in on each week, but I plan to do this all year. Lastly, for friends and family, once we are done with COVID times, I want to take time to hang out with at least one friend or family member every 2 weeks. In the meantime, I want to make sure I'm texting or calling at least one person per day just to keep in touch, because I tend to get a little bit wrapped up in work and other things, and I just don't think that I do the best job of keeping in touch with people. It is measurable because I have those specific times set of hanging out bi-weekly or calling or texting once per day. It's definitely an achievable goal for me. It's relevant because it's going to improve my social relationships. And as far as time bound, again, this is something I'm going to be working on all year, but I'll be able to check progress every week or every month. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful for you. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.